All right, we are here with the Basic Battle League Season 5 Draft Breakdown, and then we're going to be giving grades along with it. So real quick, here are our two divisions of six. The Sunbury Stunfists, coached by Camel. The Southeast Shamans by Hawaiian Shaman. The Melrose Meloetas by Bruins Girl or Char Girl, but we just call her Bruins. The Washington Wishy Washies by Quack. Uh, I think it says Ingleside Bayonets by that would be Monkey, and the Boulder Boltons by Arch Avenger, and that would be of course the Team Yell division. Then over here on the Team Skull division side, we have the Charlotte Chandlers by Shadow Six TCG, NC Night Dazers by Knight, Sin City Sword Dance by Embiid, Georgian Greninjas by Coach by Red, Foxborough Heroes by Newcomer LW, and Detroit Duats by returning player M-Man. And yeah, we have a new logo for this season, which is cool. And just as a reminder, Camel of the Sunbury Stunfisks is the defending champion. All right, let's get into it. First up, we have the Arch Avenger with his meme of a mono electric team. What are your thoughts, Bob?
Oh, I didn't even get an introduction. What is this?
I forgot to introduce you. My bad. Well, here we are. We have Bob with us today.
Yes, you did.
Bob Bob is not playing in the league this season, same as me, but we're both here in case anything happens. And I'm a mod, so you know. Yeah. So Bob, what do you think? That was your introduction.
Yeah, that was a great introduction. Hi, everybody. Excited to be
Fantastic,
here. All right. So
fantastic
you said
intro.
first we're looking at Arch Avengers team, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, this team sucks. It's mono electric in
Yeah.
draft.
As I said, he went for mono. He went for mono meme. Here's the thing: he went Boltund as like his mascot. He went mono electric. He did not even select a Boltund, which obviously is bad, but like still.
I
Um,
mean, this is a Luxray, so I think Bolton's considerably better than Luxray.
yeah. Um, I mean, Luxray does have guts, I guess, but yeah, it's just I guess it's maybe as good of a mono electric team as you're gonna get because of how drafts play out, but like at the same time, there's better mono type teams that you could go for a draft like Dragon or something, and even on top of that, just mono type teams in general
So,
aren't bad and aren't good in draft.
so the main thing to look at with this team is the fact that this season of the league is not allowing hidden power.
Yeah, that's
And
correct.
that means that most of this team has no coverage at all for ground types, and no coverage at all for Volt Absorb or Lightning Rod Pokemon, and no coverage at all for opposing electric types that can just resist every hit.
Yeah, if something has Volt Absorb
So,
or Lightning Rod, he kind of gets shut down. Like his best electric types for coverage are like Xurkitree, um, uh,
it's
Coco,
Xurkitree, Rotom, and the Spider.
the which one? Oh, Galvantula. I mean, Coco has.
Xurkitree, Rotom, and the Spider are his
I mean,
coverage
I mean,
options for the
Coco. I
most
think
part.
has. I think
Coco
Coco
doesn't
has.
have great coverage for ground. It has Grass Knot.
Yeah, it has Grass Knot, and then Zapdos has like Hurricane and Heat Wave. I don't think it has Surf or anything. Um, right,
No, it does not.
Alolan Raichu does have Surf. Uh,
It has Surf and Grass Knot. They're all
yeah,
decent.
but yeah,
It also has Stab Side Shock, which is probably
his
what I'll
team
put
doesn't
over
do
that.
a fantastic job covering its issues. Yeah, so that's why we're
Yeah,
giving this
his
thing a
team doesn't do very well offensively, and it doesn't do very well defensively. There's
yeah.
a lot of really bad individual Pokemon on it, like Electrode and Luxray.
Yeah. So yeah, we gave it a D minus. It's pretty fitting for mono type team. Then we move on to Bruins of the Melrose Meloetas. Um, yeah, I gave it a B plus. You were saying like A minus. I think it's a really good team with just like a few deficiencies to it, but that's kind of like more subjective than anything. I'm never too
My
high on
call actually
Raikou.
just crashed, so I missed a little bit what you said there.
Yeah, I gave it a B plus. You were kind of saying A minus. Um, like I think it just kind of comes down to like
Oh,
how.
Bruins team.
Yeah, like I think it comes down to like I'm not a big fan of Miltank and Claydol. Um, I think if anything, she could have like dropped like gone only one Pokemon instead of both of those. Because as a reminder for this draft,
Yeah.
it is complete
So if you're
points.
gonna,
Yeah. Just for people who don't know, this is a point style draft, exclusively point style. Um, and you can have anywhere from 10 months to 12 months. So she went with 11. I think maybe if she went 10, it could have been a little bit better. But anyway, you were about to say?
sorry. So the main thing I look at with Bruins draft is that she has Magearna.
Yeah.
And so, to add on to what you just said for all the viewers, this is an underused Ubers draft, which means that they're including some Ubers that are not good in actual Ubers drafts,
Or are
but
good, but
are
like,
probably still fair for this.
yeah.
And in
Magirna's
my
on that
opinion, Magearna
borderline.
should not have been allowed.
She's on that borderline where she,
No,
because
Magearna's not even borderline.
I mean,
Magearna is
Magirna is
broken.
good in Ubers.
Magearna's
It's just
absolutely
like,
broken.
I did they ban it in OU? I forget.
If you're talking about ladder, then yes, Magearna is also good in Ubers, but yes, it is banned from OU. And if you're talking about draft, then Magearna is way better. It's one of the best Ubers in draft, actually, simply because of its gigantic move pool and multitude of niches that it can fill on any team. So, like with Bruins team, for example, she can run a defensive Magearna, she can run AV, she can run setup, she can run spec, she can run scarf, she can run anything on this Magearna that she wants any given week.
Yeah, I mean, she does have a lot of options. I'm just trying to adjust my audio real quick.
To me, that alone, like literally just the Magearna by itself makes this team B plus. If you look at the rest of the team, it has individually good mons like Galarian Zapdos that
Yeah,
works
Galarian
really well
Zapdos
for
is
most
like
of the
very
team.
strong.
Espeon, she has Espeon, which if I remember correctly, does get what is it? I think one thing she can do with it that would be really beneficial would be manual sun. She can run manual sun and buff up her Charizard to make it stronger, or give Raikou a
Yeah,
fire
she
type
can.
weather ball.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
she
It has
has
Weather Ball.
she has Thwacky with Magearna. Thwacky setting terrain for Magearna makes it even harder to deal with. Skuntank can Pursuit Trap and Defog, and is just a very solid singular mon. Claydol sucks.
Yeah,
Mega Love Disc is just a fat water type. Can't
yeah.
really go wrong with it.
I think.
Poltegeist, I think, is the worst individual member of this team because anything you can do with Poltegeist, you can just do with Magearna instead.
I mean, I think it's not
And then
bad.
Miltank provides rocks. Miltank
What I
provides rocks.
Yeah.
That's immunity.
What I think the issue with this team is just the fact that it has a bit of truffles with like hazard removal. Like Skuntank isn't bad as hazard remover. Like it's one of the better. I say it's one of the more underrated mons for hazard removal. Um, but I'd also just say like only it and Claydol being its real. Like you're not gonna run defog on Charizard
Oh,
and was that?
Zapdos doesn't even get it, I think.
I'm not certain if it does, and even if it
Zapdos
did, I
doesn't
don't know
even
if you
get
would.
deep.
Yeah. So like it's certainly like mixed in terms of that. And then like I said, I'm not a big fan of Claydol plus
I mean, like I said, you have one good defogger with Skuntank. Claydol sucks. You have another technical defogger in Zard, and you have Magic Bounce Espeon. I think the hazard control is passable because their team's not really weak to hazards. Outside of Zard, nothing is weak to rocks, for
I
example.
mean,
And then
yeah.
spikes are spikes.
Yeah, it's just something like if webs get up, it can probably make things difficult for her.
Yeah, web. Well, Skuntank can usually deal with pretty much
I can't tell.
webs
Oh,
because it's just
okay.
setting up anyways. Poltergeist doesn't care about webs. Aromatisse doesn't care about webs. Clay doesn't need that. Zapdos doesn't have. Charlotte hasn't mega evolved yet.
I mean, Poltegeist does care about webs because if it needs
Sorry,
to
what was
shell
that?
smash, I say Poltegeist does need like webs gone just because of shell smash means like it may or may not be able to outspeed a lot of mons. Like
If
it's
it
not.
gets plus, if it shell smashes and gets +1, and it's like say max timid, I believe it hits 393. So the only thing faster than it would be max boosting nature base 130s like Tapu Koko,
Or scarfs, but then at the same time, like if a scarf mon
or
outspeeds it,
like
it's getting a kill.
scarfers that are base 70 and max.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think she did a pretty solid draft overall. And as said, yeah, I was surprised
yeah.
McGinnis actually. I was
I've
surprised
been
McGinnis
fine with
fell to
the
her.
draft other than Claydol sucking. I think this draft is it's very solid.
Yeah,
Claydol sucks and Poltergeist doesn't really have a purpose, but it's very solid.
yeah. All right, here we have the defending champion Camel. We talked about this team. It's very varied, so we kind of gave it a C plus. Uh, yeah, there's like some really good offensive mons, but then at the same time, there's a lot of mons that are like meme or one very weird usage. Like the bottom five you'll see on screen, I don't really like. Like the best one I like is Sneasel, and I'm kind of like mixed on it. Um, yeah, and
I think Liepard is better than Sneasel out of that group on the bottom five.
yeah, it's faster, isn't it?
I No, Sneasel's faster. Sneasel's base 115. Liepard is like base
10?
I think it's 106, maybe
Oh,
107.
but yeah, it's kind of like just a very rough. On top of that, he only really has like one defogger on the team if you don't count Smeargle, which is like Feeny, and Feeny doesn't like to defog very much because obviously it wants to keep its
I
terrain
think
up. So it
Rayquaza
does.
gets debugged.
I think it does too, but I if you're using your Quaza as your defogger, that's kind of weird.
Well, I mean,
Um,
if you look at it technically, he has three things that can defog even if he doesn't want them to, and then he has Magic Bounce on Mega Dimanche.
I mean, Magic Bounce isn't
I think
bad, but
hazards are manageable.
yeah, it's just I could see it being a bit
And then
rough for him at
also, again,
times.
nothing on the team is actually weak. Only Rayquaza on the team is actually weak to rocks. And like you just run Boots on
I
Rayquaza anyway.
guess, but
So who cares?
at the same time, you don't like say Dotrio's Sash getting broken because it likes to be able to like have reversal as an option, and it needs it open so that we can two a KO with like Earthquake.
I mean, you can. Doug Trio is very frail, but it can take a lot of weaker hits. It can take one of them and be in range of like reversal if you want it
It
to.
really depends on the Pokemon because any offensive
I don't
mon
think
is
that's how
usually good.
he's planning to go.
I don't know. He has double Trapper with Wobbuffet,
I
so it's
think if you look at the draft, the worst members of it are the Wobbuffet's useless here.
I don't think it's useless. I just think it's like he doesn't need it. Um,
It's useless. Yeah, it doesn't
but
provide anything for the team because of the team.
yeah, I have to
Offensive
turn
nature
my music
and
off,
Wobbuffet
sadly. Encoding overloaded. I hope my video is fine.
only traps fat names. It can't trap offensive. Not very well, at least.
Yeah. Um. But
So
yeah.
to me, the Wobbuffet's useless here.
Yeah. I think I got cut out from you a bit, but yeah. I like I said, I don't think the Wobbuffet needs to be on the team in general. I think like I said, those bottom five
Yeah.
were. Also, he's limited to like I think we have 4 transactions we gave them this season, so like he's stuck with at least one of those, even if he dropped like all if you even if he tried to. He's stuck with like a good chunk of these mons.
Oh, and I think we should mention again that it's not appearing on the slide for anybody watching, but Camel also has a Ditto on his team.
Oh, I added the Ditto back because I
Or did
changed the
you put
grade.
on the slide?
I put oh yeah, you don't have the slide, but I put it in the middle
Oh.
between. I put it like in the middle between like Feeny, Rayquaza, and like Weavile. So just imagine a little Ditto between those three. Yeah. All right. Embiid.
Yeah, but I mean, a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of people. Oh, okay. We'll move
No, no.
on to
Go,
Embiid.
last. You can make your last thoughts.
Okay, well, as most people can look at with Camel's team, this is a very meme-oriented team. Uh, there is a specific combination that he's going with that involves Rayquaza, Infernape, Delcatty, and Liepard. And that is why he drafted this style of team, is just so he can use that specific combination.
Of assist
And
plus something.
I I think this is like a 500 team, very like 5-5 or 6-6 type.
Yeah. I mean, last season he went like one game over 500 and then turned that into a near
Yeah, and
perfect playoff
his team
run.
last season was substantially
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
His team last season was substantially
Yeah.
better than
Last season like the games he won he dominated and the games he lost were like kind of like close games outside of one, and I think part of that was just him misplaying. This time it kind of looks more like he's trying to have a little fun. Not sure how that'll play out, but if he makes it to like 500 or just above 500, I think he'll probably make playoffs. All right. Embiid in the Sin City Swords dance. I still love that logo I made. Um, yeah, I quite like his team. I gave it an A, but you were saying more A minus. But I ended up just kind of putting it down to A minus anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, there's not a lot of difference between A minus and A. Like either way, you're looking at a very solid draft.
Yeah, like the
There's no individual on the team, or there's no individual mon on the team I don't like, besides maybe Pseudo Widow because it's Pseudo Widow. But
but
even then, it's not
Sudowoodo was a
that bad
one
for
point
like a 1 point
mon.
Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a 1 point mon that could come in like maybe a couple games because it does have Rockhead, Head Smash, and like Woodhammer. And for some teams, that could actually be a bit of an issue.
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch too, yeah. I think it
Yeah,
has
it can be
Earthquake.
sort of hard to switch into. Like if you look at Embiid's team itself, Embiid doesn't switch into Pseudo Widow.
A lot of teams don't switch into Sudowoodo. Sadly, you need like you need a steel type that is like bulky. But yeah, like his team doesn't like you said doesn't have the best defensive like options. Uh, but I think like there's just like
So
so much
it's got
offense.
defensive options, but a lot of them don't have either good defensive stats, even though their types are really good synergistically. Their defensive stats just kind of lack.
I mean,
And then the
Mega
ones that do
Venu.
have good defensive stats don't have any recovery.
Well, Mega Venu and like
Venu has
Togekiss.
great stats.
Yeah,
Togekiss' stats
synthesis.
kind of aren't that great defensive.
I mean,
Bad. They're
I forget
above
what it
average, but
exactly
not
is.
great.
I forget what Togekiss is actually stat wise. What's this for? Camel or no Embiid's team. Embiid's team.
It's like I think it's 80 HP, 95 defense, 85 SPDF. It's
I
kind of similar
oh, it's got to be higher than that. Let's see.
to
It's
Kingdra
95.
bulk-wise, if I
It's
remember right,
so it
but
is
its hitting is
80.
way better. Because
It
it's,
is
it's packing those
85.
two immunities to Dragon and Ground.
So it is 85 HP for Togekiss, but it is 95 defense and 115 speed up.
Oh, I got a SPDF wrong. Okay, well that's
And
fine.
and then Swampert is
Either way,
190
like
90.
it's yeah, it's not a it's way better. Yeah, Swampert's like 100, 110, 80 or so.
190 90, which is still good.
But I
That's
mean,
still
the
good.
Swampert doesn't have recovery. The only mons on this
No, it
team
does
with
not.
reliable recovery are
Venu,
uh,
Scizor if he was running bulky
so the only mons with
Scizor,
reliable recovery
and
on this team
Togekiss.
are the Venusaur, the Togekiss, and the Scizor,
Yeah. So I mean he could try to cleric
which
with
I think he can afford to run bulky Scizor
yeah.
Mix.
He
But
could he could try to wish pass with Jolteon. It is only 65 HP, but like that is enough to like give Swampert like 40% boost, I guess. 45, something like that. Like on of HP on a good switch in, but I don't know. He doesn't have a great
yeah,
cleric option. I mean, I guess he could wish path with Togekiss into Swampert.
earlier. But
But
now that I look at it again, the offense is not that great. Like
uh,
Lando is obviously insane.
well,
Dragapult is pretty insane. But if you go past those two and then you look at like Entei, which doesn't have a lot of like any defensive capabilities, it's hard to get in, and he has trouble getting it in.
well, I
Then
think
like,
I
where's the
think
offense on the
Venu.
team?
Well, I think Venu does a good job chipping down. It does have like really high special attack. Scizor can be just that Mon who SDs up and gets good damage, and Togekiss can be an offensive Mon. So I think he does a decent job, like with like he has like that
He
overwhelming
has a decent
presence.
job providing kit for Dragapult. Yes,
Well, I think
that's the
if
main
he
thing I see
yeah
about it.
I
He
think if
does
he
good at
chips
chipping for Dragapult and Jolteon in the late game.
I think it does a good job chipping down, and then like Carmine Lando can just sweep. Or
Ew!
actually, I think he
Don't
gets
even talk about Calm Mind.
I think he
So
gets
bad.
nasty plot actually, right? He gets nasty plot.
I don't believe it does. No, I don't think
Actually,
so.
I think it does. 'Cause I think that was one thing that was like a
I think it's Rock
big.
Polish and Calm Mind. I don't think it gets Nasty Plot.
Let me see. Lendus incarnate. Uh, will it tell me its
I don't
moves?
think it needs Nasty Plot anyways because it's very strong to begin with. It doesn't need Nasty Plot.
I mean, just Calm Mind alone is a lot to make it very strong. It also makes it hard to like revenge kill it without Ice
Yeah.
Beam. And as we said, without hidden power, that actually makes it even more difficult to kill it because you actually do need coverage on your team. See,
Yeah.
Len.
So to me, the only thing I dislike about Embiid's team, it synergizes extremely well within itself, but it doesn't have that individual X factor Pokemon. The closest thing it has is Dragapult,
I mean,
but it
I
doesn't have
I would say
that
Landorus.
single mon that is going to. I feel like Landorus kind of lacks in that individual mon role.
Well,
Like it's
101
a
speed is good
fantastic
and
breaker,
115 special
but
attack.
that's pretty much all it's actually good at.
I mean, that's not
Well,
bad.
it's more sheer force, life orb, 115 special attack. The
Yeah, but
speed
that's
is fine, but it's not that much in terms of this draft.
I
Like
mean,
101 is fine, but it's
like
not
he does
amazing.
have some speed
I think if you're looking at
deficiencies.
Lando to be the X factor, if you're looking at Lando to be the X factor of this draft, then I think while the overall team is very good and definitely worth at least an A minus, I think it just lacks a little bit from being like, perfect. It's not it's just
Well,
lacking that
yeah,
X factor
that's
mon.
that's
That
why
one that
it's
can
like
come
A
in and save him in a
minus.
bad situation.
That's why it's A minus because like what it does struggle with, it doesn't quite keep up. And that's kind of like where I think like A minus is good for. It's so amazing. It's just those few things that A does not have. Hawaiian Shaman.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just
yeah, we weren't too high on this team.
I don't like this team very much.
Yeah,
I
like
don't like this team that
like I
much,
said,
no.
I don't like Celebi. I think Celebi is always like overrated in draft. It kind of struggles a lot of time because a lot of people like over centralize on like
I
U
don't like
turn.
Celebi here for sure.
I just don't like it in general just because of the over centralization of U turn in draft, and it makes like whereas on the ladder it's a decent switch in because your opponent may or may not just have U turns. And here most of the time your opponent's gonna have U turn, and it makes it really hard to switch into when your
I
opponent
don't
just
think
like
U-turn
calls
is a
out.
good I don't think U-turn is a good argument for or against Celebi per ladder versus draft because like in either case a lot of what people just do is spam U-turn because it's the free safe play that you can
Oh
always do.
yeah, it's just on ladder your opponent just may
To
not
me
have U turn
with
because they're teamed. But in drafts, a lot of times
yeah,
if
but I
someone
mean they
has U
usually
turn,
do
they
because it's
bring
the
it.
free safe play.
Yeah. I like Mega Scizor. I like Naganadel. I
I
like
do think
Blissey.
the I think Keldeo, Naganadel, and Scizor are mons on this team that you can bring every week, and they'll always be good. And they can definitely carry this team a decent ways. But I think past those three, if you ignore that those three are there, this draft is really, really bad.
Yeah, like Rotom Heat's good. I
Those
do.
three are basically carrying
Yeah,
this team on its back.
I do like Obstagoon as like just a bit of offensive. But it is more one trick. But yeah, like I don't like
Yeah.
Banette. I don't like Palossine. You like Palossine, but I don't really like Palossine. I don't like Celebi and I don't like Torn. Like
Yeah, you like
I think
Blissey, and I
those
don't like Blissey.
I like Blissey just because it's so fat
I
and
don't I don't like Blissey.
I just don't like it. I just like it because like his
I
team
don't
would
like the
otherwise struggle with.
Blissey. I don't like the Banette,
I just like Blissey because I think he would struggle with a lot of
and I
stressful
don't like the
attackers.
Rotom, and I don't like
But
the Torn.
yeah, But yeah, this was kind of like a very not the
I
greatest
think
looking.
you'd be very sleeping on you'd be sleeping quite a bit on Scizor, Piloswine, and Keldeo for handling pretty much every special attacker in the game.
I mean, flamethrower comes out and like scissor drops, but Blissey just says whatever special move
Well,
you're going
Keldeo
for.
can take that, and Piloswine can take most of those, and Diancie is also there to take pretty much all of
I
those.
mean, Blissey just
Like
is
to me, I
that.
think Blissey is excessive defensively, and
I
it's
I mean,
very passive on a team that is already quite passive.
teleport isn't bad for this team, but I don't know. I think there's just a few too many mons that like kind of bog it down a bit, like lower. Whereas this team could have been, I think, easily B plus with a few
Yeah,
changes. B minus is probably a bit generous.
I think this team could have easily been an A-level team just between Keldeo, Naganadel, and Scizor if it was built around properly. I just don't like the way it was
Yeah.
built around.
Um.
I think Obstagoon is a fine member, and I think Pilotwine is a fine
Yeah.
member. I think everything else could go.
Yeah. So we mentioned M Man is a returning player. LW of the Foxborough Heroes is actually his little brother, I believe he said. And here we go. I think this is actually his first draft ever, if I believe I saw what M Man said before.
Yeah,
Um,
it does have the appearance of a first draft,
I'd say
to
it's
put
a
it nicely.
better first draft for some people. But yeah, like the immediate thing
Oh
for
yeah,
me
I've
is
seen worse first drafts.
yeah. The immediate thing for me is like his fighting switch-ins
This
are
team is
Tux. Hmm?
the immediate thing that stands out to me first is that this team is horribly slow.
It's slow. It doesn't really have trick room abuse outside of P2, and like it
Fastest
had it.
mon is
Yeah,
Kirim at base 95.
yes, it's very slow. Beartic, even with its base, like its base like
It,
50, I think. Even in hail, it's not very fast.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't like.
it hits 436 with a boost in nature under the hill.
Yeah, and it's also not very strong. Um,
It's
I don't like it not being able to switch into fighting types very well because of Toxtricity and Azu aren't the greatest switch-ins. And then also looking at it again, like it also struggles with fire types because the only switch-ins are Azu and Embor. Um, yeah, I definitely think. Uh,
there's a whole Umbreon right there.
I mean, a Darmanitan, for example, is gonna
I
get like
can think of a few things. Some things that would benefit this team would be another Trick Room setter, just so his Trick Room
yeah,
mode is more like something like Cresselia, for example, could go over Umbreon. That would be a very good way to solve his fighting issue
yes.
as well.
If there were
And then
I would definitely switch
uh
out the Ice Core and Umbreon for things that are better in Trick Room, like you said, Cresselia, maybe an Uxie, or as you mentioned before, Mega Audino, while we are off cam or off mic. Mega
yeah,
Audino,
I don't think you need both Uxie and Cresselia at all.
yeah,
I don't
unless
think you
you're
need
going
Uxie
like,
and
unless
Cresselia.
because
Uxie would
that's a bit
actually be
too
nice
offy.
because Uxie gives him a rocker, and he doesn't have one of those. He doesn't have anything with Stealth Rock
Yeah, I don't.
or Spike.
Maybe Melmetal has rocks, but I don't think it does. It
It does
might.
not. He has
Okay.
no rocker, no spiker, no T spiker, and one defogger
Yeah.
in Conk.
He has good offensive
Actually, I think
pressure.
Hiram gets defogged too, but
Like I like his offensive pressure, but it's not fast enough to be great hyper offense, nor is it like we said, tricking me abuse to make it like
his
that.
yeah, the team is too slow to abuse his offense. He doesn't have priority behind it. He doesn't have a good trick room setter. He doesn't have hazards.
He
He
doesn't
doesn't
have
really have hazard
yeah.
control outside of defoggers you don't want to run defog on. He doesn't have priority outside of Azu and
Yeah.
Conk, and
I
I get
think the only
no Ice
defogger is
Shard.
Kirim. Or Kirim, I think, and Conkelder.
It's Conk. It's
Well,
Conkeldurr. Yeah.
does Kirim get it?
I think Kirim does. I know Conk does. I think Kirim
Yeah,
does.
because I want to say got it last gen. But yeah, yeah, it's
Conk just
definitely
got it in Gen Egg, yeah.
yeah, it's definitely something where like more speed or more leaning heavily into trick room as well as fixing a few holes would have been better. Rocks definitely because if you're running hyper offense, you
Yeah,
want rocks, you want hazards to like help with that.
it is a. I think it's a very weak draft.
Yeah. Um. some things that can be fixed, but we'll see how
I
it plays out.
I think you were being slightly generous giving it a C minus, to be honest.
I do think it's better than Arches for sure.
Yeah, but that's not saying much.
True, true. If you're listening, Arch, then fix your team. Uh, M-Man, his big brother. I really like this draft. I think last season his draft wasn't the greatest, like going like Galarian Zapdos and like Urshifu, like Rabbit Strike. But in this one, like I think he did a lot better job.
Yeah, I mean, this draft can be summed up with two words, which is Ash Greninja.
By the
Ash
way,
Greninja
Shadow was
is one of the child. Sorry, go ahead.
Shadow really wanted Ashgren to be listed as a mega, and I was like, why? He's like, it plus a mega. Be like, there's a lot of things that are 20-point tier where you add like a 18-point mega is pretty busted. Like, serious. Yeah, I just
I
thought
don't
that was
know.
funny.
I don't know how it's usually treated in draft, honestly.
What was that?
I don't know how it's usually treated in draft. All I know is it is Ash Gren is essentially the poster child of being the single mon that can win you a game by itself.
Yeah, and then when you throw in Victini,
And
Pharaoh,
the team around it is not bad at all.
I really like Mega Altaria. I think it's just fat and good typing. Like it only has, let's see, it has fairy weakness. Actually, its only weaknesses are fairy, whatever
Poison
fairy
and
is weak
steel.
to. Yeah, it's
Fairy,
literally
poison, and steel.
yeah, like it doesn't have a dragon weakness, which is fine. And then but it also does have like grass resistance, a fire resistance, a water resistance, an electric resistance. So I think those are good.
It's
Oh,
just a really
it
crappy
does have
version
ice
of
weakness.
Mega Man.
Yeah, I
It
guess,
functions
yeah.
as a very crappy
Well,
version of Mega Salmon.
I would say
It's
maybe
still
not
very
Mega
good in
Mints.
draft.
It's I'd say it's more of like a setup like Mega Venu, where like Mega Venu kind of comes in, eats a hit, recovers off. This kind of thing can like be, that Dragon Dance. It can run like special or physical, which could be trouble for some teams,
You don't run
depending on.
special. You don't run special. Trust me.
Well, Flamethrower is good. I don't think it gets a special boosting move, but Flamethrower plus Hyper Voice isn't bad.
It does not. So the way he's going to probably use it, considering what he has on this team,
It'll probably
he's
be
just going to
offensive
use the
most of the
very
time.
default stuff for his Altaria, which
Yeah.
is Dragon Dance, Frustration, Roost, Refresh, or Heal Bell, I suppose, in
I
place
mean,
of
I guess he
Refresh.
he could run
Probably
like
his Altaria set almost every week.
yeah. I don't know what coverage it has besides just a couple of moves. Like it has Earthquake and Flamethrower.
Flamethrower, Earthquake, Hyper Voice would be a special, and that's basically the only moves it ever runs.
Yeah. I do like
I
Porygon
think it has
Z.
Hydro Pump, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. I do like Porygon Z because of in just some
I
matchups, if they don't have like a good switch in, it just gets a lot of damage fast. And that can be really good for like honestly, like
Yeah, and
with a team like Ashgren,
Gren.
you want to get as many Pokemon as low as possible on your opponent's team before you get it in, just so that way it forces them to sack and forces it just puts the game far into your favor. Because it's not something that's gonna get like a kill when they still have six healthy Pokemon most of the time. So having like those offensive
Well,
mons that you're willing to
that is an
sack,
advantage to that is an advantage to the Ferrothorn pairing and also the Bikini pairing.
yeah,
Is Ferrothorn has hazards that rack into Gren range, and Victini clicks V create, and then things are suddenly in Gren range because it's so strong.
yeah. Gren can literally just click U
And
turn
then
most
like
of the
the two
time.
things Victini can't V create,
Yeah,
yeah, or spikes.
yeah.
Like
We
if Pharaoh has to bring rocks most of the time, the team doesn't have another
yeah,
good rocker. Golurk is not a good
yeah.
rocker.
We talked
I feel
before
like
that
PZ is just slightly
it's like not a cup every week mon, but
PZ is
is
like
it?
slightly overkill off.
I think PZ is the one that comes like 5 games at least, and like puts a lot of pressure on a team that doesn't do a good job pressuring back.
How
Um,
many games are in this season?
I think it's 8. I believe we have 8 because I think they play their 5 in
Okay,
division games and the 3 non-division. But yeah, we said before like the Victini, the Grand, the Pharaoh, and the like Altaria, like those are like the 4 core, and then he kind of like switches 2 of the like any other mons, which like I think are still good. Like you have the spin, with Hitmontop, which is bulky and has Intimidate shuffling. Then you have two defog options. With Crobat being back, really good. I do like Golurk as, it has three immunities and it does have good offensive presence and enough bulk to live a couple of hits. So I think he has and obviously Vaporeon can just be that generic poster boy of cleric. So I think he does a good job with supporting his 4 months.
Yeah,
I think he does a good job supporting
yeah,
his
I
four.
think he has that core of four, like you mentioned, with Victini, Grand, Pharaoh, Altaria, that I think come probably every single game. And then if I had to look at what comes the most next, it's probably PZ and Crobat.
Yeah, those are
If not,
those are going to be the most
I
used, I
think
imagine, out of
Crobat's
those.
very good here just because it's speed here and its
Yeah,
resistance is. I feel
yeah.
like Vaporeon almost never comes. Golurk
I,
only comes if you want to put spikes on Pharaoh so you can run another move on Gren. Hitmontop only comes if you want spin, and then Rotom probably just doesn't come ever,
well, if
honestly.
your opponent has a notable electric weakness, then Rotom's not bad.
Yeah, if your opponent doesn't have an electric immunity, then Rotom's not bad and can probably come over
Yeah,
Crobat. But I
yeah,
think it maybe shows up once
yeah.
at
This
most.
this is definitely a team I would put in running for best drafted team. How it plays out during the season, won't know, but I think last season, like towards the end of the year, because like last year was Man's first. I think he said it was his first singles like experience in a long time because he's done like I think he's only done like Smogon doubles slash VGC, so like his first singles drafts
Yeah, he's a
wasn't
doubles
great.
player. I know that.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but like you saw, like I
He
saw, like
started
at
to
the end,
adjust to it a lot better at the end of the
yeah,
season.
he did do better at the end, which I think I think he got a better feel for it. He'll draft better, he'll play better, and like he could do really good this year with this team, I think. Um
If we're rating this strictly on the terms of draft strength, though, yeah, I think this is in the running for best individual team. I think it's definitely top three for
oh
sure.
yeah, for
I
sure
don't know
top
if it's
3.
best, but I think it's top.
Top 3 is a bit
It has
arguable,
some
but we'll get
issues
to the
with
others. Yeah.
it has some issues with speed, and that's about the biggest.
Yeah, and I mean he does have good speed tiers with Victini being 100 for as strong as it is, Guren being as fast as it is, Crobat's fast. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have the best speed tiers, but I think he does a decent job. Like most teams in this draft don't actually have
Yeah,
like
like
a
there's a
high speed tier range. Actually, I think like no one really went like
there's a
this is a
big
fast
speed
team.
tier gap is the problem I look at. Like
Yeah,
between Victini and Gren, that's a 21 point speed gap. That's
yeah,
pretty, or 22 actually. Gren is 122, so it's a pretty giant speed gap. And then if Gren doesn't get Ash Form yet, his fastest mon is usually going to be Gren because Crobat kind of lacks power wise against a
yeah,
lot of the other faster threats.
yeah. But yeah, it's definitely
I
like
don't like that speed gap.
like I said, I think you'll notice like a lot of like common things in this draft are some people have like two or three fast mods and then everything falls in like that 80 speed lowers range for whatever reason. Although the next
Like,
team is actually
but
pretty
I
quick.
do really like this draft.
Yeah. The next one
Oh
is
yeah, the
very
next team
fast
is
though.
extremely
Monkeys,
fast.
I gave her a B, but
Yeah,
she does have good speed. I don't like Superior because it doesn't have hidden power. So like, if a team is not like great for grass, like it could be amazing. But I feel like it's a mon that, for its points, won't show up very often. Um, I don't love Mega Banette, but it is a mascot pick. Uh, which actually, when I was looking for the Mega Banette photo, I found what the
I
logo
don't
was.
love I don't love the fact that there's only one rocker in a Tyrantrum and there's only one
Yeah,
defogger and it's superior.
it's only rocker. It only has one defogger. He has she has court chains.
It has court chain.
Um,
That's about it.
yeah, which court chains she might have to run more,
She
but
has
that's not.
court change and she
Yeah,
has court change and she has taunt, and that's basically her
yeah.
head control.
Was it Monkey last season who drafted Blacephalon, or was that Kim? I can't remember which had Blacephalon.
Kim had Blacephalon, Monkey had Spectrier.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the Blacephalon last year was able to carry Kim. Although she didn't really win many games, it still was the Mon that got a lot of kills. This is a better team than that, and it revolves better around
Well,
it.
yeah, it's Blacephalon. Blacephalon has exactly one good answer in draft, and that's Tyranitar.
Yeah.
In a draft that doesn't feature Pursuit, Blacephalon has one good answer, and that's Tyranitar.
Notably, there weren't many pursuit users drafted. I think. I but
There's a lot of niche Pursuit users that I think every team
yeah.
has at least one thing that Pursuit, even if it's not something you usually think of as a common Pursuit trapper. Like this team has Banette and Weavile and I think Tyrantrum. I'm not
I mean,
100% sure.
I can go through back to the beginning and see. Let's see.
Yeah, like if you were to look at
Arch
like Kim herself has
Arch
Tyrantrum
doesn't.
to deal with Blacephalon if necessary.
Uh, Bruins does its Skuntank. Camel, I don't. Sneasel has Pursuit, I think.
Arch
Eh,
has Pursuit. I think Arch has Pursuit on Luxray, maybe.
I don't think
I don't
Luxray
know if
gets
Luxray gets
Pursuit. I
Pursuit
think it
though.
only has Crunch. Yeah, Camel has it on Sneasel. Embiid, I don't believe it has it at all.
Camel has it on Sneasel and Liepard.
Oh, actually,
Embiid has it on Scizor.
Scizor has it. Shaman, Mega Scizor, LW, I guess Umbreon. Uh, Emmet,
Yeah, Umbreon is actually a pretty good Pursuit trapper.
Emmet, I don't believe has it.
I
Unless
think he has it on
Hitmontop.
Hitmontop.
I don't think Hitmontop has Pursuit. It might, but
I'm
yeah.
not 100% sure if it does.
I mean, yeah. I guess if she knows her Pursuit trappers, then she'll know when. But at the same time, some of those aren't the greatest, and Blacephalon is very powerful.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we'll see. Like, she could always just be carried by Cinderace and Blacephalon, and the rest could kind of just pick up the slack. Like, I like Tyrantrum as an offensive presence. It's to me, it's like Emboar, where it just kind of comes in and gets damage and a kill. But it, like you said, it being her only rocker means
I
that
think
she's
it's
gonna have to run
potentially better than
rocks.
Emboar, but
You like what?
yeah, I think she would definitely benefit from another rocker for
Yeah,
sure.
it definitely would.
But Tyrantrum is way better than Emboar.
I mean, I like Emboar too, just because of it does have slightly more coverage. But yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
Tyrantrum's got better typing. It's easier.
it does. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just a mon that comes in and gets damage and or kill. Um, let's see if I move on. And
Yeah.
on to her fiance or husband. I'm not sure if they are married yet. Knight. Knight.
Oh,
Um,
we're going tonight. Hold on, I gotta scroll down. I gotta scroll down here.
yeah. He made a transaction last minute, but in the grace period that has not appeared on the website, but it is a Lycanroc Midnight for a instead of what was it, Regirock, um, which actually means I don't think any Reggies are
Red
on a
Rock.
team right now. Oh, actually, Regieleki is on a team, so it's the only Reggie that's on a team right now.
Yeah, Red.
When last season there was
Yeah, which
all
is kind of
Reggies on
crazy
one.
because Registeel is like an absolute
Oh,
great.
Registeel is
Yeah,
great.
like Registeel is great.
It's great.
Yeah,
It just eats too many hits and it seismic talks back. But yeah, the issue I see with the team is too many glass cannons, and he only has like a few bulk mons. Like I don't
yeah. So
yeah
his bulk is almost entirely reliant on Desire.
yeah and
It's borderline just pure HO draft, which I'm not a fan of after I tried it and it was kind of terrible.
yeah. By the way, I found it
Uh,
funny when he was trying to be like,
I
oh
don't like
look,
the Ox's normal.
yeah, he tried to be like, oh look, +2 special attack, mind play, Deoxys in terrain does like 90 something to Ferrothorn, and I was just like, for one, how are you getting to +2 with terrain up with a Deoxys? Like people will just stay in an attack. They're not gonna let you, like, especially if they have something that doesn't die. If they just know it doesn't die, or if they can get something in that can kill it, like it.
Deoxys also gets Deoxys also I'm pretty sure has like flamethrower or something to hit
It
Pharaoh
has
anyway, so
fire
who cares?
punch. It has fire punch. I checked. Expert belt fire punch does more, and
Hey, that's fine.
if they're Spadef Pharaoh, they just like die. Um,
Die.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's like I don't know. Deoxys is kind of like that mixed one. Like obviously terrain will help with priority against it, but if Lele goes down or if they're able to shift terrain around, because there's a fair bit of terrain drafted, like it'll make things switch it. And then also there's just other things that he has trouble switching into. Like if Chansey goes down, then his fairy switch in is a Mega B drill and a Magneton, which not the best for those.
Yeah,
Like
Magneton
Magneton,
sucks. To me, Knight has a very set win con for every week, and he can probably just bring the mons from that win con every week, which is going to be Frostlass, Lycanroc, Deoxys, Halucha, and then +1.
I guess.
I think he brings those five every week.
Yeah. Like Halucha might end up being his best mon this season just because
He
of
just runs a very. I mean, the best mon's Lele individually. It
oh
depends on how he
Lele,
uses it. If he just
definitely.
uses it as terrain support for Lucha and Deoxys, then it's not going to be very
Yeah.
good.
Like
But individually, Lele is a great breaker to pair with Halucha.
yeah. Last season I picked up Lele with 3 weeks left in the season and it got 10 kills in those 3 games. Like it was that good.
Yeah, it's a very good Pokemon. It's very
Indiv-
strong.
Honestly, if he wins, it's gonna be by him focusing more on Lele than like focusing on Deoxys. But we'll see what he does with
Yeah,
his
if
builds.
his way to win is his way to win is getting up hazards with Frostlass, getting up hazards with Lycanroc, and then breaking through everything with Lele, Deoxys, and Halucha.
Yeah.
That's how he wins.
But I'm
That's
just
that's
afraid
plain and
he's gonna
simple.
focus. I'm afraid he's gonna focus too much on
I feel
Deoxys,
like
and I think that's gonna be a bit of an issue.
well, if Deoxys gets like one or two kills and opens things up for Halucha to win
I
games, then that's
guess.
fine.
I think if he had gotten say Deoxys speed, I think that would have actually been better. If he like say he'd gone Deoxys speed and then went in something else
Deoxys
instead
speed
of.
is
It's not strong, but like just for
if
that.
Deoxys speed wasn't pathetically weak, I would agree with it.
Well,
But
the reason
Deoxys speed is very weak. It only has like 90 base attack, I believe.
it's not. It wouldn't be for that. It would be for the fact of it can be a screen user. It can be a hazard setter, and being faster than everything outside of Regieleki and Ninjask is really good. Or actually, I think
It
it's
is
faster than
faster
Ninjask.
than Ninja.
Yeah, Regieleki the
It
only
is
way.
faster than Ninja.
Yeah, it's Regieleki that's the only thing faster. And then obviously it's
I
base
think
90 defenses.
it's
Let
base
it
one
kind of
DD if I remember it.
something like that. It's like Regioleki's now
Yeah,
200, so
it's
it's
basically
faster.
Frostlass on steroids. It's
Yeah,
Frostlass on steroids.
which I think if he had gone like just like I said, Deoxys speed, I think that would support the team better with screens and being able to set up hazards really fast instead of having to like wait for your time. Because like Frostlass can be taunted, can like be running on reverse sled and taunted. Uh, Lycanroc also like they're not
Well, Frostlass is
fast.
actually very hard to taunt. It
Well,
is very fast.
How fast is Frostlass?
It is base 110.
Oh, well,
So it's as
there's
fast as
some mons.
Pilates.
I guess there's some mons they can. Uh, but yeah,
It
I don't
also
know.
has Icy Wind and like other forms of speed control, Thunder Wave, Destiny Bond, all that good stuff.
I mean, yeah, but if you get
Frostlass is
taunted
very good.
first, it's good. I just think Deoxys normal doesn't really like. It feels like an out of place. Like if he had gone something else, I think he would have had a better team. I don't remember what all is left in 20
Yeah,
points, but I definitely think something besides that. Moving on to Quack.
yeah. I don't like the Oxys normal.
Yeah,
Oh, Quack, I
Quack
gotta scroll back up. Hold up.
Quack had a
Yeah,
good
Quack, here he is.
draft, I'd say. It's just Spectrier and Guzzlord are kind of the like kind of dead mons. Like Delibird was a 1 point mon because he didn't really have any
I
points left and he had to fill up a slot. But Spectrier and Guzzlord kind of like don't really seem like they belong much on this team.
they're very good for this team.
You said very good?
Spikes are very good for this team. Yes, that's why I like Delibird.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm just saying Spectrier and Guzzlord aren't very good. Like I said, Spectrier doesn't really break through normal types and
Oh yeah,
Guzzlord
no,
is too slow. Like Guzzlord
that's
has a
very fair.
great HP stat, but if anything has like Dazzling, Gleam, or Play Rough, it just drops. Even close combat can OHKO it from a lot of mons.
Spec Spectrier has no purpose on this team
Yeah,
because he doesn't need it for a cleaning role when he has the best cleaners in the game with Genesect and Kartana. He
yeah.
doesn't need it for a breaking role because Zard makes everything it does better, and he has spikes. He doesn't need it for a defensive role because it's a freaking Spectrier, and he has a Slowking or a Xatu or a Gliscor if he wants a defensive Pokemon.
Yeah, let's
Like
see.
Spectrier doesn't offer anything to the team besides its speed tier, which I don't think he
Yeah,
needed Spectrier for that speed tier. He could have gotten a
Spectre
lot of other things that would
Spectre was
have
also
been better.
15 points, so like if he dropped Spectre and
I
Guzzlord, he
think
could
that's
get
overpriced for it.
yeah. If he were to drop Spectre and Guzzlord, that's 20 points he could get for two mons, and there's a lot of
I
good
feel like
10 point mons.
I feel like Guzzlord is not the major issue with the team.
I I
Guzzlord
just
has its uses.
I just think if he went something else, he could get something that is better, like a better like that way he like something that is maybe a spinner, so he can get up rocks and not have to worry about defogging them, or same for spikes, or if he had say a
Yeah, he
better
can get up his own
spiker,
rocks and spikes and not
yeah,
have to
if
worry
he had
about
a better
spin.
spiker or something,
I feel like if you if you dump Spectrier, that's probably almost enough points to pick up like Excadrill, for example. And there's your
it's
spinner right there.
close. I'm not sure what point tier extra fell into. I can actually check. I think
It was probably like 16.
if it's 16,
It's
he would
still
have to.
good. So
So I checked. Rillaboom was actually 16 points. Uh, so yeah, so I'm not sure because remember because we did have the limited limited what is it called limited points or limited you can only get one of the 16 to 18 and one of the 19 to 20 or two of the 16 to 18 so that way they can't triple down. Let's see tier list.
yeah,
Exca is when this loads up. I'm not gonna show it on screen, but just
probably 16 or 17 if I had to guess.
it is 16. Yeah. So yeah, he wouldn't be able to get Excadrill.
That's about-
But for the 15-point tier, there's Corviknight.
He could get another good spinner.
Let's see, there's Corviknight
Well, I don't know what
in.
Corviknight offers the team either, honestly.
I mean, I'd say it does an okay job. Uh, Slowbro. Does he have a Slowbro or a
I
Slowking
don't think he
already?
needs. He has double steel, double flying. He has Slowking.
Oh yeah, Slowking. Well, then that fills up
I was
that
looking at
slot.
Excadrill as the spinner because that would let him keep his hazards up.
Yeah.
Since he has rocks and spikes, a spinner would be nice.
Yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm on the draft website, and it's like it doesn't let me scroll to the right. I think for whatever reason, even though I'm on computer.
Yeah. So as I think you know, I had a lot of issues with the tier list in general. I thought it was really, really bad as a whole.
Yeah, Shadow
But
had gotten it
I
from
think
like a website.
Spectrier in general,
Yeah,
I
Shadow
think
had gotten the tier.
Spectrier does not fit this team. It doesn't have a role. It doesn't have a real role here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I agree. Let's see. In the 10-point tier, there's Cloister. There is Donphan, uh, Empoleon,
Oh,
Flygon,
Cloister on the team would have been
Forretress.
disgusting. Christ.
Yeah, so I think if he dropped Spectrier and Guzzlord, there's a lot of things in the 10-point tier he could have gotten. Like I said, Cloister,
Oh my
Donphan,
God. Cloister on the
Delmise,
team would have been disgusting.
yeah, Forretress. There's a lot of spinners in the 10-point tier, and
He has
or just
so
good
many ways.
mons.
He has so many ways to pressure steel types, and
Yeah,
so many ways to pressure fighting types.
yeah. So I definitely think that Spectrier and Guzzlord, if he drops those two, he can pick up two very solid Pokemon that can I think help him out a lot and bump this up from like a B plus to like an A. But yeah, like the Charizard, the
I still think
Genesect, the
this is an
Rillaboom,
A
the
minus,
Kartana are good.
honestly.
I think it's still B plus because Charizard.
I still think this is an A minus for the draft.
I don't know. I think Zard,
Like
Genesect,
he has,
Boom, and Kartana are just so fucking good.
it is slightly weak to rocks. Is about the only downside, but he has a lot of ways to deal with rocks. He has, let me see, one, two, three, four, five defogger and or spinners. He has magic bounce with Zatu.
I mean,
He has
you're not gonna be.
taunt on
You're probably
Spectrier and
not running defog
Gliscor
on.
and Rillaboom.
I mean, he's probably not running defog on Zard. He's probably not having Delibird be his defogger. So the more realistic one is Gliscor and Xatu as
Delibird
defoggers.
is spin.
Oh, that's spin. Even
Delibird is
then,
spin. But
even
yeah,
then, even
Gliscor,
then though,
Xatu, and Kartana can all defog.
I don't think you want to run defog on Kartana though.
You can, very realistically. In a lot of draft battles, Kartana doesn't need all four move slots, so you could just slap defog in the
Uh,
last slot as
it's
like an
just on.
emergency option.
I mean, not every matchup, but there are some matchups where like you want 3 attacks in SD.
Yeah, but like
Yeah,
if you're just running Scarf Cart, which I think is very good for him to do most weeks because he can use Solar Blade instead of Leaf Blade since he has Sun from Charizard and then he has Grassy Terrain from Rillaboom. So Scarf Solar Blade is a extremely powerful cleaning tool for him.
yeah. But yeah, I
Like
think we've talked
he
about.
has a very he has excellent breaking. Yeah, we've talked about quite a bit. I think. I
Uh,
think this is at least an A minus
yeah,
draft personally, with a
yeah,
small weakness to rocks that could be buffed up over getting rid of Spectrier and
yeah.
Guzzlord.
Red, I gave him an A. I think it's just very solid with Mega Metagross, Darmanitan, Lando. You're not too keen on Manaphy, but I think Manaphy is just really good with this team. Ambipom is just not bad, and he has so much U-turn and Volt turn, like so much.
Yeah, he has extreme amounts of U-turn and Volturn. I would like to see Spikes to abuse all of that
Yeah,
momentum building a little bit better,
I mean
but
he has
he
T
does have
Spike option,
rocks
I
at least,
guess.
which is something.
Yeah, rocks. He has T Spike
T
options.
Spike's not really the type of thing.
If anything,
T
he could
Spike's not
drop.
really the type of thing you pair with. You don't pair
No,
T
but
Spike with Volturn very often. You usually pair T Spike with like Calm Mind Manaphy, Bulk Up
no, but
Zarude,
like one
maybe like an
layer of
Assault
T
ST.
Spike, one layer of T
Our
Spike
land.
sort of get one layer of T Spike sort of gets that like in just because like they don't take the immediate damage, but that's in turn that 12% does, you know, work like, which I think is fine. It's
Yeah, but
not
it's
as
not hitting a lot of the things that will
it's
switch
not yeah
into
it's
Volturn.
not as
Like it doesn't
good.
hit the Steel type that would switch into Volturn, for
It's
example.
not as good. Like I think he could definitely drop Mimikyu, but I'm not sure what tier it is in. Uh, let's see. Mimikyu is
Probably like
in
11 or 12. I think it's
it's
12.
it's 12. So if we look at like if I look at like the 11 and 12, what is
Yeah, 12.
left?
Oh.
Um,
Well, you mentioned a couple of good spikers from 10-point tier already as well,
yeah,
Cloister and Fortress.
yeah, and then in the 11 point, there's
And
Klefki.
Fortress also gets Volt Flip, so
Yeah,
that kind of fits the idea of the team.
yeah, Klefki is at 11 points.
I would
Notably,
rather go with Fortress just because of the Volt Flip.
then I don't think Tentacruel gets regular spikes.
It does not. It gets T Spike and Spin,
Yeah,
and that's it.
so that's really it. Like the only one in the 11 or 12 point range is Klefki, because everything else either doesn't have it
Yeah,
or
I
has
would
been
just go
gone.
down to 10.
Yeah. I mean, he could, and then he could always drop, I don't know, Wheezing for something a little bit better. Like I like Wheezing, but Wheezing does not have
Yeah,
defog. Only
I think
Galarian does.
I think the same deal applies to a couple of other people. This draft can be summed up with exactly one pick from it, and that's Mega Metagross.
Yeah,
Mega Metagross single-handedly will carry this team to at least like a 3 out of 4 win rate. So it's
yeah,
that 75% win rate.
yeah. I mean,
That thing alone will carry him to that win rate.
I could definitely see Darmanitan though somehow being its kill leader because it's just also that fucking strong, and U-turn can just pick stuff off in the late game or early game. But yeah,
I feel
I
like
think
Darmanitan won't actually get that many kills because its main use here is to break for all of the other powerful physical sweepers he has access to. Like Darm breaks, and then Lando's a good sweeper, or Zarude's a good sweeper, or Ambipom's a good sweeper, or Metagross is a good sweeper.
he has a lot of sweep options.
But Darm's strength on this team is to break.
Yeah. The only thing about this team I don't love
So I don't
is
think it'll actually get that many kills. It'll probably end up Darm will just kill itself most of the time and maybe take one or two things with it. I don't
I
think it'll be
mean,
his kill leader though.
the only thing I really don't like about this team is the fact that Landers is the only defogger. That's the only thing that I think keeps it from being like a perfect team. That's where like
Uh,
Mimikyu, and if Mimikyu and Weezing were like dropped for like Klefki and like I'm not sure what tier Weezing was in, just go up a little bit more for like another defogger, then I think it's possibly like the outright best draft.
I think offensively, if you look at it, he doesn't need that much defog options. If he was to pick up a spiker like Fortress, for example, which
I mean,
Fortress
yeah,
also gets spin, so that would be really cool too. But if he did that, like if he can overpower people with his own hazards and force them to defog, technically that is another form of hazard control, is your own hazards.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you have the more momentum, it can do that. But yeah, I think Red is up there with possibly the best team.
Yeah, and he has the most momentum.
Yeah,
I think Red is also another top three candidate alongside who was it? Inman and I don't think we've gotten to the other. Oh, Embiid. Yeah, I think those
Embiid,
are top three
yeah, and
options, and
then
then
I think
maybe
the
Bruins is also up there.
yeah, and then the last team we have to look at is Shadows, and his is also one that could be in contention for top three. As you
I think
mentioned,
Shadow's team is not top three, but he has Mega Salamence, which should not have been allowed and is absolutely broken.
yeah, like I said, it's a the top five mons on the road that I have very solid, very good, and then the bottom six kind of like fill a like I put Beware in the photo. It kind of does whatever.
Oh,
Like he doesn't have the best hazard. He has three hazard removals, but they're not all. They all kind of like do okay instead of amazing. And
it's
he's pro.
four.
Well, Salamence likely isn't going to be it most of the time, especially because it's weak to rock, so you don't really want it to be your defogger.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it beats the opposing rocker and you can just switch it on the opposing rocker most of the time, then there's nothing really wrong with it.
Yeah,
Like if,
but most of
well,
the
I
time
guess
they're good.
Heatran doesn't really apply here because he has Heatran as well.
If
But
someone has like Stone Edge or like Ice Beam, it's really hard to like defog in front of that. Like you have to take that gamble of like, are they gonna
yeah,
stay in or not? But yeah,
I don't think it's
Salamence,
often going to be a defogger, but it can be if it needs to be.
I guess this is a team where it's like it's gonna be Mence carried, and then it's gonna be like Mence carried. Mamoswine's gonna get kills, and like his bulk's gonna basically pick up the slack. But yeah, I'd say it's probably one of the ones that's gonna be a little bit
Yeah,
easier to like prep for, just because he's probably not bringing him a lot of those other ones. He's bringing one of those other six more often than not, and just
yeah.
keeping with in like I would say 7 out of 8 games, it's gonna be these five core.
Most, yeah, most of basically has two win cons for any given game, and that's either Mega Salamence just wins, which is pretty reliable, or he's going to be going with something like a T Spikes plus Suicune, or T Spikes plus Sub Protect Suicune plus like Calm Mind Clefable type of win,
Yeah,
which is also very efficient and can auto win matchups. Calm Mind or T Spike plus Suicune is terrifying for a lot of teams to face. So to me, his best four mons are the first three in the top row plus Drapion, just because those are the major threats that everybody is going to need to prep for every single week.
I mean, I guess
I think
Drapion, but
the Vikavolt kind of useless. He doesn't really need webs.
yeah,
The Vikavolt's useless because he doesn't need webs. Pidgeot's useless because it's Pidgeot. Colossal, I think it's called, is useless
yeah.
because it's Colossal.
I
Um,
wouldn't say that.
and it's also another four times around week.
And Water Reek. I wouldn't say Decidueye is useless, but it is one of those ones that I think it's harder to get a lot out of
I
as a
think
defogger.
Decidueye is better than the Vikavolt. I think it's better than the Vikavolt, the Pidgeot, and the Colossal.
It is, but at the same time, it's like I think he would have been better off with a better defogger in general.
It's not that much better.
I
I feel
mean,
like if you drop the last three there, you pick up another ground immunity because Heatran does have the four times ground week, and you don't want that
yeah,
pairing with the four times ground week from the Carkol or Colossal or whatever the heck it is. You grab another ground immunity over, or that's better than Vikavolt or Pidgeot. You grab a spinner that isn't colossal because you like to abuse your own T spikes, and you maybe grab like either a spiker just to help chip things down for Mence a little bit more, Mence and Mamo mostly, or you grab a defogger, I
yeah.
guess.
I mean, I would
I
definitely
got a
like if
second.
you.
I think a
I would
second type would benefit them a lot.
that, or I definitely think Scarm or Corviknight would be good with it, just for those like Scarm, especially with the fact that it could be Hazards or Defogger. Let's see, where's Shadow's
Yeah, I
team?
don't think he has enough point. I don't think he has points to get Scarm plus two other things.
No, but I think he could drop two things for Scarm, which I think would be fine for him. Let's see.
Well, he oh yeah, because he has Beware. I forgot about that. So he actually
Yeah,
only needs to drop two for one. Yeah.
yeah. I'm just trying to
So he could
see.
drop Vikavolt and
Yeah, it's 14 points for
if
Scarm
he drop Vikavolt
and
and Pidgeot for Scarm,
uh.
I don't think he has enough. He has to drop all three of
No,
those for
he
that.
would have to go Vikavolt and he could go Vikavolt and Colossal for Scarm.
Oh, is that enough? What?
Yeah,
Why is that enough?
Skarmory is 14 points. Vikavolt is 9, and Colossal is 5.
Why is Colossal 5 points? That's like a 3 point mon at best.
You should ask Shadow that
Oh my god, this
question.
tier list was so bad.
You should ask Shadow that question. He's the
This
one who
tier
was
list
like,
was so bad.
"Yeah, I liked mine a lot better." I mean,
So bad.
mine I admit needed some work, but like Shadows, I did not really. It's whatever. All right, but yeah, I think this team is A minus just because of those 5 core. But yeah, definitely dropping
I think
Vikavolt
straight up
plus Colossal.
Mega Man is very powerful on its own. And
Yes.
then adding in just a secondary win con with the T spikes we can clef side of it
Yeah.
is very powerful.
And I guess let's get into the just final thing, just the final thoughts. Obviously, like we had the worst gradeds being LW and Arch, but besides that, which one do you think was probably the worst team?
Besides LW and Arch, I think individually the worst team, I'd have to go with Camel, honestly. It would either be Camel or Knight.
Yeah. Let me look at Cat Knights real quick.
Knight had the
I'd
Lele
probably
Deoxys,
I
however.
would probably say Camel would be worse overnight, just because of Knight does have a few things I think that pair better
Camel's
with
just
each other.
memeing.
Yeah. Um.
I think if Camel brings a serious team, then his team has potential to be a lot better
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
Knight's.
Um.
Like if he builds serious, but he's not going to, so it would probably be Camel as the next worst team after
Yeah.
this.
Top three teams you'd say drafted wise.
Top three is it's definitely M-Man, Red, and either Embiid or Shadow.
Funny enough, I look, they're all in Skull Division.
Yeah. Well, I
That's
guess Skull Division has its work cut out for it trying to deal with those guys then.
yeah, no, that's pretty funny. I mean, only three of them can make playoffs. So, oof, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Well, I guess the other three are kind of screwed then. The other three in that division are kind of
Yeah,
screwed.
yeah, poor Knight sitting there. I mean, it's LW's
Okay.
first.
It's
It's
okay.
I believe
Because,
it's
like,
LW's first draft, so it's kind of like expected to not do great. If I had to guess who's going to be making playoffs out of all of these teams, I'd say for the Yell side, I'd say maybe Bruins wins the division. Either Bruins or Quack, and then I would say probably Camel makes playoffs as like the wheel. And then from the other side, I would say probably it's really hard to say because although I think M-Man and Red have the best drafted teams, I do think like Shadow does have the experience to make it there as the winner of the division. Um, but yeah, I
it
can
really
see.
depends on how much a certain two people help Shadow with his build. Actually, probably certain three people, since you're also probably gonna help him every now and then.
Oh, he always
There's
asks me
three
for
people
help.
that help Shadow build for his team.
There, yeah, he always asks me like
If those three
literally.
people don't help him, I feel like he's lacking.
Yeah, the season he won league, I gave him the most like a help of help in playoffs, and it won him league. Like I was building for him so much. But yeah, I definitely think Shadow's making it. I think he'll probably take. I think he'll take number two in the division. It's really hard to tell who's gonna win it. Because I think they're all good. I think maybe Red wins it. And then I think it's either Embiid or Edman for the final slot. I could definitely see because they all have to play like
Funnily enough,
three.
I think Shadow matches up really well against Red, actually. So I think Shadow might beat Red in a tiebreaker, and they have the same record,
It
possibly.
could be. I definitely think that at
No,
least
Mega Men's actually look kind of against Red. Like,
yeah,
if anybody can deal with Mega Mets, it's probably Red.
yeah,
Between Lando, Metagross, and Manaphy, and he can
yeah.
probably deal with Mets.
I definitely think it's possible for at least like I think it's possible for at least one team to in that division to be make it 5-3, like going undefeated on your outside of division games, your inner division, and then going like maybe split, like just even if it's just 2 wins for his division, that would put him at 5-3 and still like someone to miss the playoffs. I can definitely see one of those 4 teams like that just happening too. Um, and I could even see Knight maybe making it 500 and still missing compared to like the other division where I think the other divisions with like the memes of Boltons and like I don't know. I'm not sure
When I look at
how.
Knight's team, I don't see a 500. I don't see a 500 team when I look at Knight's team. I see like a 3-5.
Yeah, actually, did I put
There's
did
going to be
it?
teams he can overpower with his offense, but I feel like if he can't overpower teams with his offense, he is not going to win.
Yeah, I think I might have mixed up which division was which. Let me see. I mean, I think I have the divisions right. Oh yeah, no, I have them right. I have them right. Okay, I was thinking I mixed up which is which. Uh, but yeah, I oh shit, my
I mean, I don't even
computer's.
have the spreadsheet.
So unfortunately, my computer actually died at this point, or actually to be more specific, my laptop died. More so, it shut down. Although it saved the recording from prior. It said it was the OBS said it was still recording when I turned it back on. But when I did, it actually didn't really record it. It just ended it from when the laptop actually like died and when I turned it back on. But yeah, no, I got the divisions right as to who's who. And yeah, that's gonna be it for the divisions breakdown and grades. I'll be coming out with the schedule analysis and all that later on. Um, and probably actually when the first week actually gets done, it'll be about 2 weeks worth of to get the first games in, and we'll go over more of the rules and breakdowns, I guess, at that time for all that. And transactions that we made will be planning to include a lot of fun stuff in that time, like let's see, we want to do things like play of the week, Pokemon of the week, stuff like that, game of the week, all this cool fun stuff if can. And yeah, but this is me signing out, and Bob actually did have a good little outro, but unfortunately you don't get to hear it. But Bob will say hi in
Oh,
the
I'm
comments
still
for sure,
recording,
or
chat.
something, or in the Discord. I'll be putting a link to the Discord
He's still
and the Draft League as usual if you want to watch.